Okay, so this is where we are on the truck now.
What?
Oh, just doing an update. The unknown mechanic and I have been pulling things out of here. We've got the radiator, fan shroud, fan, serpentine belt. A couple of other things have been removed. And I'm gonna see, I need to remove the fuel injectors can stay on the rail. That's all one piece with the manifold, but right there in the front of the yellow injector is the black spark plug coil, and those 8 of them will need to be pulled out to get the intake manifold off. Then we got some hoses that we need to remove over there. Pulled out the throttle cable and cruise control cable here. So part of the core return, I believe, is we need to remove my pulleys and the water pump and harmonic balancer. Got to yank off the power steering pump there. That's a hard one to get to. 3 bolts that are just kind of hard to reach. Down here is the compressor, which is easy to reach, and it has 3 bolts that you can easily get to by sticking a extension with a socket on it through the cross member, the slot in the cross member that is perfectly lined up with those bolts. So next thing we got to do is remove the bolts on the intake manifold, and we will pull that off. So that's going to be probably a good hour from now, and no reason to keep recording because everybody has seen people turn nuts before. And but as you can see, no leakage in the front left or the front right. And that was after I did the repair work on the crossover tube and gaskets, and we used Right Stuff gasket maker in there to permanently seal it. I'm not even going to pull it apart. I'm just going to leave the manifold together, and we'll just pull the manifold off and leave the crossover tube on in place. Alright, so these here couple of hoses on top are just tight enough that you need to remove those to slip the manifold out. And then we have to pull out this here electronic thing that's bolted to the stud at the top of the timing cover there and there. And a couple of other things, and there's a ground wire here that we need to get that out. So alright, I'm going to get hopping to it. I'm going to just hop on into the front of the engine area here. Lots of room for a big guy like me to get around, and even more room for a small person. And so that's it. Okay, let's get hopping here. More fun than humans are supposed to have. Boy, that's a bright light. I'm going to kill it. Okay, so let us put the camera back over here, and we'll get to work. Okay, so let me tell you some of the stuff that we have learned about the sucking, or the exhaust valve that went out on me. So inside here, this is the exhaust right side, and you can see the oxygen sensor there. Now, why is the pipe wet? And same over on this side here, oxygen sensor, pipe is wet. And what has happened is the When the valve broke, destroyed the piston, and the rod began slamming into the cylinder wall and taking that out, it cracked the block, and basically the coolant system just started spraying into the cylinder. And what also happened with that is we put our dipstick down and pull it up. You can see all the coolant and oil. There's about almost a foot of it going up the dipstick. Let me see if I can get this back in there. Yeah, there you go. That should be an arcade game. Okay, so what happened is the cylinder wall here in number 5 cracked, and engine was hot, and coolant was blasting into the cylinder down into the oil pan. So then what happened is the PVC system, we have this side here is sucking up into the, well, it's actually the PVC is sucking over on that side through the back of the intake manifold. And if you look right here, you see the big pipe on the back of the throttle body. So that is sucking air through the PVC system into the intake manifold, which is drawing air through the air duct intake system into the left side of the engine. And then we also have the idle air control valve here that was also drawing in coolant and oil. You can see the wetness on the tube there. And if you look inside of the throttle body, you can see the wetness at the bottom of the butterfly valve. So we were just, the engine was just being saturated with coolant and oil being sucked, well, first blasting through the cylinder walls into the oil pan, and then being sucked up into the intake with the PVC system. And so now what's probably going to happen is when I pull the intake manifold off tomorrow, you see that black plenum chamber below in the valley, that is probably going to be full of coolant and oil. So when I pull the intake manifold off, we're going to have to pour all that crud out of there too. So yeah, just amazing how much happened in this engine. And I had just worked so hard to make everything as ruggedized as I could to prevent any further leaks. And as you can see, there's no leaks up in the intake area. That's all nice and dry. And then, if we were to crawl underneath the truck, let me get the unknown mechanics dog bone creeper here and sit my butt down on it. Okay. So up here we have the inspection plate for the ring gear, the flex plate, and you can see the bolts up there. I need to adjust this here for me. Okay, so you can see up in there are some bolts on the flex plate. Now it's actually kind of hard to see here. You can just make out the one up there, and there should be, yeah, there's one right here. There. So there are 4 of those that hold the torque converter to the flex plate. And so we got those all undone. Now another thing that I gotta do is, now it's not letting me roll here. Stupid thing. Okay, so then here is the exhaust here coming out of the header, and you can see up into the header that there's oil and coolant mixed. And there's the plug for the oxygen sensor left. Way up here is the oxygen sensor right. There's my red coolant adapter. So the engine never got hot. All of the washers that they put on to fall off if it overheats never came off. And like if you look possibly on one of the knockouts, there should be one of the knockouts up there will have it on each side. But yeah, so here's the right side, and you can see the amount of oil and stuff in there too. And then over here is the Y pipe where the left and right combine and head into the catalytic converter. And so you can see that that's got some wetness in it too, and there's probably wetness through the whole system here. That's the Blue Ox tow bar setup. Okay, so what else have we got here? Yeah, so we're gonna have to remove the starting motor to get that disconnect the transmission from the engine. And anyway, so plenty of work to do here yet. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just very upsetting that put all that work into this and the thing is running just beautifully, and then all of a sudden, poof, the golden bullet strikes. Okay, so let me climb on out of here, see if I can get my butt out without rolling over some stupid thing or another. There's my 7-pin that I had to route and piece together 3 of them to reach the tow vehicle, that international truck that we rented to tow us here. And anyway, okay, so see if I can get off of this thing. Okay, and just shove that right back under there. And yeah, I've got a 6-pin cable that seems to be missing somewhere. I'm not sure. Could be in back, but yeah, it was so upsetting because we had everything was going just beautifully. Yeah, it's a mess in here because I'm working on the truck. And you know how that goes. Okay, there, this is where that is. Fortunately, I do not have the kitty box with me. I do miss my kitties, but Kelly assures me that they are behaving well at home and eating well. That's what kitties do. Okay, so this was the 6-pin cable that came with the kit. So there you go. I don't know why they would give me a 6-pin cable. Alright, come on. So it has a 6-pin plug here, and so I was supposed to wire this into the truck and turn it into a tow vehicle, where for the towing stuff. Anyway, so okay, yeah. So I had this wouldn't work with what I was doing. I needed a 7-pin. And so anyway, I adapted everything and got it all working. Okay, good. I've been looking for that. I'm glad I found it. Now I can tell Kelly I found it and she doesn't have to look anymore. Okay, so here we are. We are in the shop. And, oh, come on, stupid thing. There. So we are in the shop. It's nice inside here. You can see the reflection off of my camp chairs over there. But yeah, there is the best creeper ever made for working on vehicles, the dog bone. Because it looks like a dog bone. And, so anyway, yeah, what do we got left here? We already pulled out took out the fan, the shroud, the radiator. I'm in the process of disconnecting all the cables here, getting that ready to go. I'm going to just disconnect a couple more things there, the red hoses. Just the hoses that I have to disconnect and leave the rest of it intact on the manifold. And then what else? I'm going to get a new tension pulley idler wheel. There's the power steering. I might get a new what do they call it? Harmonic balancer. That's a new air conditioning unit. There's our bucket of oil and coolant down there, drained out of the system. And so anyway, plenty of work to do, darn it. I just did not need this. I just finished all that work trying to make this thing a good, solid engine. And boom, just like that, an exhaust valve breaks. How often do exhaust valves break? Just not very often. Yeah, race engines, sure. Engines like this, that the hottest that they ever run, this one in particular, 173 degrees. There's my water pressure gauge, so I could tell how much pressure was in the coolant system, and it was at idle about 4 degrees, and if you rev the engine it would go up to 20. So what else have we got going here? Anyway, gotta pull some of these hoses away to get clearance to be able to remove the manifold. It's just that tight. And take off the valve covers. And I'm going to take a good look at the number 5 valves to see if a spring broke or if a rocker roller follower bearing failed or something, but we'll get to the bottom of what happened to number 5 here tomorrow, I think. We should have the engine out and be able to examine everything, pull off the oil pan, and see what kind of goodies are down in there. Maybe even take a look at the crank, see if we can spot any bearings that have failed. And let me see. Yeah, so just a little bit bright. Anyway, yeah, a lot of work ahead. Be sure to stay tuned and watch. If you're interested in this kind of thing, if you've been following along with the engine modifications, engine rebuild assembly, didn't really rebuild it, but I had the heads off and I sanded and polished the top of the block and the heads, put in the ARP studs, ported out the exhausts, put on the tubular shorty headers, and the Y pipe. So we did all this stuff to get a little extra power from the engine, but nothing that was going to get more fuel into it. And at first we were getting about 13 miles a gallon. It was doing really well. So we'll see what happens with the new engine. We're going to get a new cam grind on it. Instead of the stock grind, we're going to get the RV grind, which is, I guess, what they put in these engines that are in like Class B vans or Class C vans, motorhomes, and that'll be interesting to see. It's not a performance or horsepower cam, it's a torque cam, and the builder said that I might even see a little more mileage from the engine with it. So, okay, I guess I'll end this little update video here, and hopefully tomorrow we will have some more interesting stuff for you to see. But I'm excited. Another new engine. It'll be the 3rd engine in this truck. Got the engine when I bought it, then my engine from something performance, and then this one here, which is being built by a local builder in Portland, and I like the guy. I don't remember the name of it. I'll get you the name of that tomorrow. But real nice people there. Seems to know what he's talking about, and has had a good conversation with me about what to do with the engine, and we'll see how things turn out. Okay? All right. See you on the next video.